Live from New Delhi, watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Trump says US and Israel to stop new strikes on Iran, calls for rapid deal on Hormuz. Spain steps up border measures in Ceuta after deadly migrants crossings by deploying floating barriers. EU calls emergency meet to discuss the challenging situation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches nationwide 100-week campaign against substance abuse, calls upon youth to stay away from drugs and embrace a healthy lifestyle. India jumps to fourth spot in medal table on penultimate day of Commonwealth Games as boxers clinch a record haul of 7 gold medals. President Trump has said that the United States had agreed to hold off a planned military strike on Iran at the request of Tehran and other countries in the region, claiming that the parameters of a deal had been agreed upon. In a social media post, Trump said that the United States was locked and loaded against Iran and ready to strike with force not seen since World War II, before adding he had agreed to stand down pending a rapid deal. Trump said any agreement would require Iran to immediately and fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end its nuclear threat. He added that Israel has joined the United States in the commitment. Earlier on Saturday, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned the US against any adventurous action. Araghchi held separate phone calls with senior Turkish, Pakistani and Saudi officials discussing the risks of further escalation. During these calls, he warned against any US military action, reiterating that Iran was willing to respond decisively to any attack against its sovereignty or national security. These developments come amid growing speculation about a fresh US-Israeli military campaign targeting Iranian infrastructure, while Tehran has threatened to expand its retaliation beyond the region. Iran on Saturday also warned Gulf countries against allowing the US and Israel to use their territory to launch attacks on the country. According to Fars news agency, Iranian Foreign Ministry in a statement said governments in the region have a legal, religious and moral duty to prevent the US and Israel from using their territory and facilities to attack Iran. The ministry also said the continued maritime blockade and attacks on Iranian military sites, civilian areas and infrastructure amount to an act of aggression and a violation of the UN Charter. It added that Iran would exercise its right to legitimate self-defense. In another update, US embassies in capitals across West Asia warned their citizens to beware of unforeseen escalation in the regional conflict and urged them to be ready to leave. The warning, posted online by US embassies in Bahrain, Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, came a day after US President Donald Trump threatened to hit Iran very hard. The messages urged citizens to check flight details and to follow safety advice from local authorities. US citizens in Jordan were told not to visit military bases in the country, which have recently come under Iranian missile attack. And in Israel, they were urged to seek the location of the nearest bomb shelter. The US Embassy in Beirut said the mission remained on ordered departure status, meaning that family members and non-essential US government personnel were still relocated outside of Lebanon. All right, to discuss more on what's happening in West Asia, we've been joined by Mr. Ashok Sajjanar. He's former senior diplomat. Mr. Sajjanar, thank you so much for joining in on DD India News Hour. I would like to begin by asking you that what exactly is happening in West Asia? What's your assessment? Because in the latest, Donald Trump has said that he's now cancelling the strikes on Iran. It's a collective decision by Israel and United States not to strike Iran because he's saying that there's a deal which he expects to take place, but it has to be immediate and rapid deal, which also includes the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and also ending the Iran's nuclear program. So what is the entire situation here, according to you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Siddharth, for having me on your program. So I think let me make 2 points before I come to the immediate developments that have taken place that you have referred to.
Please.
Number one, that there was this conflict that was started by the United States and Israel on the 28th of February.
Okay.
It continued till 8th of April. There was, bombing and huge strikes against Iran by both the United States and Israel. And the United States realized, Mr. Trump realized, that war is not going to lead to a solution that he was seeking in terms of either change of regime in Iran or as far as a non-nuclear weapon Iranian state is concerned. So there was a ceasefire at that time, 2 weeks first, and then continued. Then after that, we had seen on the 17th of June that there was this agreement, the memorandum of understanding that was signed, that was heavily weighted in favor of Iran. Iran had been able to get everything it really desired. But after that, Iran, I think, tried to overplay its hand by hitting out that these 3 ships that were going past in the Strait of Hormuz, that were going closer to Oman rather than following the stipulated route that had been prescribed by Iran. And that has led to this current state. Now, what Mr. Trump had said, he had threatened very severe, very hard-hitting strikes against Iran. But 2 things seem to have happened. Number one, he has, of course, realized that getting into an all-out war is not going to get the results that he's looking for. Second is that the partners of the United States, whether it is Oman, which is negotiating, or it is Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf states, they seem to have advised the United States that it should not go in for these heavy strikes because it has the potential, it has the grave risk of expanding the scope of the conflict from being only a US-Iran to involve all these Gulf states and also expand beyond this region. So they have given some sort of an assurance, and this assurance seems to have come from Iran also, that on the 2 issues that are of paramount importance as far as the US is concerned, that is opening of the Strait of Hormuz and a non-nuclear weapon state, Iran, that there is progress and Iran is willing to come to some sort of a deal. So I think it's on that assurance that these strikes have been called off. So we'll really have to wait and see, Siddharth, as to how quickly we can get some progress on these 2 particular issues.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Sajjana. But my question now is that there is no response from the Iranian side as such. And when you talk about their own mindset, we have also seen Iranian side saying that we don't want to talk to US when it comes to the negotiations, which is very important. These strikes have been stopped per se by the United States so that both the sides can come on the negotiating table and find out a solution. But it's not happening right now. So is it a different strategy by Donald Trump this time around, or diplomacy appears to be the immediate focus when it comes to the United States? Also, we've told our viewers, Mr. Sajjana, that travel warnings have been issued to the Americans who are staying in the West Asia by the United States. What does it mean?
You made 3 very important points. Number one, whether it is a negotiating strategy by the United States. Number 2, whether they are going to be coming to the negotiating table. And also these warnings that have been issued. So all of them are right. As far as the warnings are issued, because obviously whatever might happen, the people, the ordinary civilians, they have to be forewarned against any eventuality. So, discretion is the better part of valor. Rather than seeing that the war is breaking out, you take precautions, you don't expose yourself unnecessarily. As far as the first 2 are concerned, yes, what Mr. Trump is trying to do is trying to sort of pressurize, give the threat that the threat still remains, but you come to the negotiating table and we are willing to talk. Now, another point, very important point that you have made, Siddharth, is that Iran is not saying this in public. It cannot say this in public because, you know, as far as Iran is concerned, all of us know that the command, the decision-making authority there in Iran is currently held by the IRGC, by
Right.
the Islamic Revolutionary Guards.
Right.
And they will not countenance, you know, that in the open there should be any statement made which tends to bring down their own position that they are willing to fight on and on with the United States. But obviously there are back channel discussions going on, deliberations going on. That is what countries like Oman and maybe Qatar, they are involved in having back channel discussions and also briefing the United States. So, you know, United States, like many other countries, is a democracy. It comes out openly, and Mr. Trump also, even as far as negotiations are concerned, he is very open about it. But not Iran, and I think that is what we'll really have to wait and see. You recall, Siddharth, that when the 17th June MOU was signed, till the last minute, Iran kept on saying that there is nothing on the table. We are not
You're right.
discussing anything. We are
I
not
remember
talking.
that.
Yeah, right now also it's saying the same thing, but I am keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that there will be some positive movement that we will be able to see, that the world will be able to see in the coming days.
Okay, Mr. Sajjana, very, very quickly, because I think we have paucity of time, I would like to ask you two questions. Number one, do you see any solution in sight anytime soon, the way things are going right now? Second, how crucial is the solution of what is happening between the United States and Iran and also Israel? Because especially when I talk about the Strait of Hormuz, it's actually disrupting the global supply chains, oil supply chains, and the Brent crude prices are going high. It's impacting the entire world, considering the importance of the Strait of Hormuz. So how important is this that a solution should come out really, really soon?
The solution should come out really, really soon, but that doesn't mean that the level of trust between the United States and Iran is going to be restored. Not at all. The level of distrust will continue to be what it is.
Okay.
The second point is that as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, I feel that, as I said earlier, that Iran has been overplaying its hand, and Iran has got everything that it wanted in this 14-point agreement. So it will try to give something or the other. In any case, I think it has more or less won the game by having that MOU. Whatever might be the fallback position, it is going to be the MOU. And MOU, everything is in it there for Iran. So, you know, it should not really be doing anything to rock the boat. But of course, the IRGC people are not very, good negotiators. That is why they had everything going for them. And they have thrown it out of the window. But now they will try to retrieve it, in my view. And so I think we can see that there is going to be some progress on Strait of Hormuz. The last point I'll make here is what Oman has been suggesting: no toll, no fees, but maybe some sort of a voluntary contribution by ships to be made.
In fact, that was the option given to Iran a few days back.
Yes, exactly. So this is something that has been given to Iran, and whatever again Iran might say in the open, in the public, and all that sort of things. But I think that is definitely a worthwhile sort of a thing which the international community will also be willing to look at, because this is the same thing that is happening in the Straits of Malacca, whether it is Malaysia, Indonesia, or Singapore. They are doing exactly the same thing. Those are also international waters. So there is a precedent, and on that basis, I think it definitely could, there is a possibility of it working out.
Right. So, I mean, in a nutshell, the previous MOU has gone for a toss. Now we are waiting for the next MOU to be signed between Iran and the United States, and we'll have to wait and see what will come out in future. Let's hope this conflict resolves as soon as possible. But thank you so much, sir, for joining in on DD India Newshour. Now, in the latest, you're welcome, sir. Now, in the latest update in Russia-Ukraine conflict, at least 3 people have been killed and 21 injured after a homemade explosive device was detonated at an Italian restaurant in Moscow. According to the police, the explosion occurred just before 8 p.m. local time, close to an Italian restaurant located in one of Moscow's 7 Stalin-era skyscrapers at Kudrinskaya Square. The National Anti-Terrorist Committee said a woman carrying the explosives tried to enter the restaurant but was stopped by a security guard. The device detonated, killing the woman, the guard, and a visitor to the restaurant. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urges Ukrainian partners to strengthen the country's air defenses by providing additional Patriot systems after the massive overnight Russian missile and drone attack that killed at least 9 people and wounded 40 in Kiev and the surrounding region. Whereas in a separate attack in a northeastern city of Kharkiv on Saturday, stacks of books were destroyed after a warehouse used by one of Ukraine's largest publishers was set ablaze in a Russian drone attack. Kharkiv region governor Ole Syniehubov said 2 drones struck the warehouse, injuring 1 person. On to Spain now, where almost all of the tens of thousands of migrants who entered the North African enclave of Ceuta from Morocco have left. Ceuta's regional president, Joan Jesus Vivas, estimated up to 60,000 crossed in recent days, while Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska reported the situation almost entirely reversed, with most returning under the watch of Spanish forces. At least 67 people died attempting the crossing by land or sea. Spain installed a new 500-meter pneumatic barrier to reinforce the border. As a result, Italy has suspended Schengen fee movement with Spain for 1 month, and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has criticized Italy's decision, describing some EU reactions as selfish, polarizing and unlawful, calling for an urgent meeting of interior ministers. Following that, European Union interior ministers will hold an emergency video conference on Tuesday to coordinate a response to the recent mass influx of migrants into Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta. The meeting follows an open letter from 22 member states urging swift joint action to prevent further uncontrolled crossings, as well as a call from Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen confirmed that, thanks to effective Spanish and Moroccan enforcement, not a single person who entered Ceuta reached mainland Spain or the wider EU. Spanish authorities reported that nearly all of the estimated 50,000 to 60,000 arrivals have already returned to Morocco, with the situation largely stabilized. And news coming in from Brazil now. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on Sunday launched his bid for re-election, casting himself as a defender of Brazil's sovereignty. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, a leftist titan of Latin American politics who is loved and despised in near equal measure in Brazil, will launch his 7th bid for the presidency at a convention of his Workers' Party in Sao Paulo. He is seeking a 4th term in office in October's presidential election. This time, Lula's main rival is the former president's eldest son, Flavio Bolsonaro. The 45-year-old senator stepped into the role after his father was convicted of plotting a coup to prevent Lula from taking power in 2023. Venezuela's government and opposition on Saturday announced that in-person political transition talks will begin next week in Caracas after agreeing on a working agenda. The latest talks follow the January capture of then-President Nicolás Maduro by U.S. forces and will focus on strengthening democracy and restoring rights after nearly 3 decades of socialist rule. The talks will be led by members of Venezuela's pro-government National Assembly and a group of former opposition lawmakers who previously attempted to oust Maduro. U.S. officials say they will have a facilitating role. And 3 people died, including the suspected gunman, and at least 2 others were injured after a shooting in a shopping area of Twin Falls in Idaho. Police chief told reporters the shooter was dead and that there was no longer any threat to the community, adding that authorities were still working to identify the gunman and determine a motive. In the immediate aftermath, police closed roads and a nearby bridge in the area. Twin Falls, a city of about 47,400 residents, is located in U.S. state of Idaho's Magic Valley region. Europe continues to battle a wave of devastating wildfires fueled by extreme heat, prolonged dry conditions and strong winds. Greece, France and Spain remain among the worst affected, with large-scale evacuations and firefighting operations underway, while authorities warn that changing weather conditions could trigger fresh flare-ups. DD India's Deepika Yadav brings us more. Have a look.
Wildfires driven by strong winds continued to rage across several parts of Greece, including areas near Athens. Authorities ordered evacuations from multiple settlements while more than 300 firefighters, 92 fire engines and helicopters remain engaged in operations. Earlier, over 200 residents from Agios Vasilios were evacuated by sea as emergency teams worked to contain the flames. The wildfire situation also remains serious in France, where firefighters continue to battle a blaze that reignited in the southeastern Var department. The fire has scorched around 1,800 hectares of land, prompting the evacuation of nearly 2,800 residents. Around 1,500 firefighters, backed by aircraft and helicopters, remain deployed as authorities hope improving weather conditions will help contain the blaze. Meanwhile, the French Prime Minister said the wildfires that ravaged the country are now under control and that the situation in the worst hit Gironde department has become more stable. However, he warned that preventive measures would be reinstated immediately if weather conditions worsen. Spain, too, continues to face wildfire hotspots despite the government declaring an end to the national emergency. A fresh blaze broke out in Leon while conditions improved in Zamora and Castellon, allowing evacuated residents to return home. Authorities have also stabilized the major fires in Madrid and Avila that burned more than 70,000 hectares of land. Across the Atlantic, Washington state in the United States is also battling a fast-moving wildfire near the city of Spokane. Thousands of residents have been ordered to evacuate, with more than 200,000 acres currently burning across the state amid a record drought. Authorities have declared an emergency and mobilized additional firefighting resources. Deepika Yadav's report for DD India.
Back home, the India Meteorological Department has forecast exceptionally heavy rainfall all over India. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is expected over Gujarat, Kerala and Puducherry's Mahe, along with coastal Karnataka and south interior Karnataka. As per the IMD, a well-marked low-pressure area over Rajasthan is likely to move west-northwestwards and weaken. Up north, widespread rainfall is likely over Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi till the 7th of August. Isolated heavy to very heavy rain is likely over northeast India as well as isolated rain over northwest India this week. Fishermen have been advised against venturing into specific Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal areas. In Kerala, 8 people died and rain-related incidents as intense rainfall from Friday night into Saturday triggered landslips, flash floods and widespread destruction, particularly in hilly regions. 3 of the central districts bore the brunt, with rivers breaching banks around in the wee hours of Sunday and floodwaters inundating towns. 65 relief camps have been set up, sheltering 1,465 people. The India Meteorological Department forecast that rainfall intensity will reduce from Sunday, with southern districts of Thiruvananthapuram and Kollam out of danger. Moderate to heavy rainfall has lashed Karnataka's Malnad and coastal regions for the past 2 days, disrupting normal life. Heavy showers were recorded in Karwar, Udupi, Chikkamangaluru and Dakshina Kannada districts, resulting in the closure of schools in several areas. In a tragic incident early Sunday, a hillock collapsed onto a shed at Indranagar, killing 3 members of a family in Tirthahalli, town of Shivamoga district. Heavy rain continues with rivers flowing above danger levels. Torrential rains has submerged roads in Sirsi in the Uttara Kannada district, with water entering homes. A high alert is in place, with authorities urging residents to stay away from rivers and low-lying areas. Meanwhile, the flood situation in Assam has improved slightly. 1.78 lakh people remain affected across 7 districts: Golaghat, Sivasagar, Charaideo, Bajali, Dhemaji, Sonitpur and Jorhat, impacting 20 revenue circles and 349 villages, according to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority. Sharaidio remains the worst hit. The death toll stands at 82 with no fresh fatalities reported. The Dikho at Sivasagar and Dhansiri at Numaligarh continue to flow above danger levels. Around 15,000 people have been sheltered in 44 relief camps. Crop area of about 15,060 hectares remains submerged. The central government has approved the advance release of 2,117.85 crore Indian rupees under the State Disaster Response Fund to 7 flood-affected states. Assam received 379.35 crore Indian rupees as the first installment. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A wildfire park in France is sheltering deer, wild boars and other animals rescued from a massive wildfire near Bordeaux. Refuge workers say countless foxes, badgers, owls, amphibians and reptiles died after being trapped by the fast-moving flames. The sanctuary is treating injured survivors as the wildfire leaves a devastating toll on wildlife. Dozens of worshippers in Bolivia gathered in the hills overlooking La Paz and El Alto to celebrate Pachamama Day, making traditional offerings to Mother Earth and mountain deities in ceremonies marking the start of the Andean agricultural cycle. The annual festival, rooted in pre-Columbian indigenous traditions, is observed throughout August across parts of Bolivia, Peru, Argentina and Chile. A Turkish copper relief artist has spent 25 years developing a unique technique that transforms thick copper sheets into intricate three-dimensional artworks with striking depth and perspective. Working from a studio in Ankara, the artist uses the method to depict historical themes while preserving and reimagining Turkey's artistic heritage. And still to come on DD India Newshour. President Draupadi Murmu flags off inaugural President's Bodyguard Soldierathon 2026 from Rashtrapati Bhavan. Uzbekistan's Minister for Foreign Affairs to arrive in New Delhi today on a 3-day visit, deepening bilateral ties in focus. You're watching DD Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and a quick recap of the headlines. Trump says US and Israel to stop new strikes on Iran, calls for rapid deal on Hormuz. Spain steps up border measures in Ceuta after deadly migrants crossings by deploying floating barriers. EU calls emergency meet to discuss the challenging situation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches nationwide 100-week campaign against substance abuse, calls upon youth to stay away from drugs and embrace a healthy lifestyle. Concerned about the rising drug abuse in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today virtually launched a nationwide 100-week campaign to raise awareness against the menace. Nasha Mukt Yuva for Viksit Bharat Sankalp Abhiyan aims to inspire youth to stay away from substance abuse and encourage them to become ambassadors of positive social change in their communities. Under this campaign, walkathons, sports activities, Meditation sessions, street plays and art competitions will be organized every Sunday to drive home the message of drug-free society. Educational institutions, youth organizations, civil society groups, industry bodies and spiritual organizations are participating in the campaign. Speaking at the launch of the campaign, Prime Minister Modi urged every citizen, especially our youth, to join this movement.
लिया गया ये संकल्प आने वाले 100 सप्ताह तक लगातार ऐसे ही आगे बढ़ेगा। हर रविवार कला, संस्कृति, स्पोर्ट्स, मेडिटेशन, अध्यात्म और सेवा से जुड़ी गतिविधियां होगी। नशा मुक्ति का संदेश नए लोगों तक पहुंचेगा। आने वाले 100 रविवार नशा मुक्त भारत की दिशा में 100 मजबूत कदम हो गए, 100 मजबूत स्टेप्स।
The Prime Minister assured the youth that the government stands firmly alongside them in their fight against drugs.
ड्रग्स के खिलाफ अभियान में आज सरकार भी मजबूती से युवाओं के साथ खड़ी है। देश में नशे के कारोबारियों और तस्करों पर सख्ती के साथ कार्रवाई हो रही है। पहले की तुलना में कई गुना ज्यादा गिरफ्तारियां हुई है। हजारों करोड़ रुपए की ड्रग्स भी जब्त की गई है। ये दिखाता है कि ड्रग्स के खिलाफ हमारी सरकार कितनी सख्त है।
President Draupadi Murmu flagged off the inaugural President's Bodyguard Soldierathon at President House in Delhi on Sunday. The President was accompanied by the former Army Chief and Governor of Mizoram, General V.K. Singh. President unveiled a special postal cover on this occasion. DD India's Vishal Barrister reports.
The event commemorates the 253-year legacy of the President's Bodyguard. Raised in 1773, the President's Bodyguard is the world's only airborne cavalry regiment and the senior-most regiment of the Indian Armed Forces. It also marks 27 years of Kargil victory.
It makes me very happy and proud for the first PVG soldierathon to be flagged off by our Honorable President from Rashtrapati Bhavan. It's a unique honor for the regiment and for the armed forces.
The event is being organized for the first time and is aimed at encouraging the youth towards physical fitness.
Being a part of this movement, the President's Bodyguard feels very proud that we're in close touch with our youth and we can inspire them to be fit and to be healthy.
8,000 runners took part in this run. The run has been divided into 3 categories: Veer Daud for 3 kilometers, Mahavir Daud for 5 kilometers, and Paramveer Daud for 10 kilometers. The run is sponsored by Wonder Cements.
It feels proud because this is a cause for a nation, and especially the military and President, Bodyguard. We really feel proud to sponsor these kind of events.
Soldierathon is a commemorative marathon series in India founded by former Special Forces officer Major Dr. Surendra Punia to honor the Indian Armed Forces and raise welfare funds for war-wounded soldiers, veterans, and paraplegic rehabilitation centers. Run with the soldier, run for the soldier. With this motto, today's Soldierathon has tried to reach out to the youth. 8,000 runners are participating in this marathon. The whole idea is to attract youth towards sports and keep them away from drugs. With cameraman Monty in Delhi, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India, President House.
Uzbekistan's Minister for Foreign Affairs Saidov Bakhtiyor Odilovich will arrive in New Delhi today on a 3-day visit, during which he will call on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan and also meet External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. He is also scheduled to attend a business forum in Delhi on July 20th. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, held a telephonic conversation with Odilovich and discussed deepening bilateral ties, including in trade, investment and other areas. Odilovich had noted that he had a substantive phone conversation with the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and agreed to continue regular dialogue. Further, in May, India and Uzbekistan held the 17th round of Foreign Office consultations in New Delhi and discussed bilateral ties with a focus on trade and investment, tourism, technology, innovation, energy, cooperation in education and other sectors as well. Gujarat is set to strengthen water conservation with the state's first rubber dam, a pioneering project expected to improve water storage and irrigation in Chota Udaipur district. Have a look.
Water management in Gujarat is set to witness a major transformation as the state's first rubber dam nears completion. Being built across the Heron River at Rajvasana village in Chota Udaipur district at a cost of rupees 80 crore, the dam's defining feature is its advanced rubber bladder technology. Imported from South Korea, these rubber bladders allow the height of the dam to be raised or lowered as required, allowing flood water to flow freely during heavy rains and storing water once the rains subside.
The 30 villages downstream of the dam and the 50 villages upstream will directly benefit from irrigation and drinking water facilities. This project is being implemented on a very large scale.
The rubber dam is set to address the long-standing water scarcity in the Rajvasana region. The 220-meter long structure features 3 rubber bladders, each measuring 60 meters, installed across a 180-meter stretch. By inflating the bladders with air, the dam can be raised within just 30 minutes, while increasing water flow can be managed by lowering them whenever required.
The rubber dam will help address the irrigation-related challenges we have been facing, providing much-needed relief.
Until now, water from the Heron River flowed into the Narmada River after monsoon. Once the rubber dam becomes operational, this water will be stored and used to meet the region's needs. The project is expected to provide adequate drinking water and irrigation to nearly 50 villages. The Rajvasana rubber dam marks the beginning of a new chapter in water conservation in Gujarat and could serve as a model for future water management projects across the state.
Women farmers in Jharkhand are turning to organic fertilizers such as vermicompost, which is produced by using earthworms, supercompost and traditional bio-inputs to lower farming costs and improve crop yields. We get you details in our next report. Have a look.
In Ranchi's Nagri block, rural women are leading a shift towards organic farming. Once dependent on chemical fertilizers, they are now growing vegetables using natural methods, creating healthier produce and new sources of income. Trained under the Jharkhand State Livelihood Promotion Society or JSLPS, these women now prepare organic fertilizers at home. As Ajivika Krishak Mitras, they are also training other women in organic farming.
मैं गांव का एकेश दीदी हूँ, कृषि मित्र हूँ, जिसमें हम दीदी लोग को सिखाते हैं कि जैविक खाद कैसे बनाया जाता है और जैविक खाद से क्या फ़ायदा है, उसका बारे में हम दीदी लोग को बतलाते हैं। और हम दूसरा प्रखंड भी जाते हैं, दीदी लोग को ट्रेनिंग देते हैं।
लोग रासायनिक खाद का यूज नहीं करते हैं, लोग घर में गांव में आसानी से गौमूत्र, गोबर, थोड़ा मोड़ा पैसा जैसे मिट्टी, बेसन, गुड़ खरीदने में लगता है। और रासायनिक खाद में तो महंगा भी पड़ता है और उसमें जैसे नुकसान भी होता है। कीटनाशक के लिए दवा तो चलाते हैं, लेकिन उसमें कीटाणु तो मर भी जाता है, लेकिन उसका स्वाद भी खराब कर देता है। देखने में सुंदर फल जरूर रहता है, खाने में स्वादिष्ट नहीं रहता है।
The organic fertilizer helps maintain soil fertility while reducing cultivation costs. Made from cow dung, cow urine, jaggery and other natural ingredients, it allows the farmers to grow crops without chemical inputs.
जैविक से हमको बहुत तरह का लाभ होता है। जैसे जैविक खेती कर रहे हैं तो फसल में भी वृद्धि हो रही है, दोगुनी आमदनी हो रही है और बीमारी भी बहुत कम होगा। तो हम खुद भी कर रहे हैं और किसानों को भी बता रहे हैं कि आप लोग भी कीजिए, जैविक कीजिए और जैविक खेती करके मतलब आगे बढ़िए, अपना पैदावार को दोगुनी कीजिए।
For these women, organic farming is creating a cycle of healthier soil, safer produce and stronger livelihoods.
The 25th batch of pilgrims undertaking the Amarnath Yatra crossed Chandrakot on National Highway 44 safely on Sunday under comprehensive security arrangements put in place by the district administration and security agencies in Ramban district. The movement of the Yatra convoy was conducted smoothly with coordinated deployment of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, Indian Army, Central Armed Police Forces, Traffic Police, Civil Administration and other stakeholder agencies to ensure the safety and security of all pilgrims. No fresh batch of Amarnath pilgrims was allowed to leave the Bhagwati Nagar Yatri Niwas base camp in Jammu on Saturday due to ongoing repair work on the Ladha-Samroli stretch of National Highway 44 in Udhampur district. Authorities said the temporary suspension of the pilgrim convoy was a precautionary measure to facilitate restoration work on the highway and ensure the safe movement of devotees. Meanwhile, security arrangements along the Amarnath Yatra route have been significantly strengthened following the recent terrorist attack in Kulgam. The Medical Counselling Committee has released the NEET UG 2026 counselling schedule for MBBS and other undergraduate medical courses. The first round of all India quota counselling will begin on August 4th, while the academic session for the 2026-27 batch will start from September 8th. Counselling for deemed and central universities will be held till August 17, followed by subsequent rounds in August and September. The last date for joining will be August 22nd. State quota counselling will begin from August 13. MCC has introduced key changes, including online registration. In fact, I beg your pardon, resignation from allotted seats, no mandatory physical reporting for candidates seeking seat upgrades, and online document submission for NRI quota candidates in deemed universities. The new process aims to make medical admissions more transparent and student-friendly. And still to come on DD India Newshour. India's Tanvi Sharma clinches a maiden BWF World Tour title at the Taipei Open. And Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia flags off National Cadet Corps Cyclothon in New Delhi to commemorate 79 years of India's independence.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Violence continues in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir with clashes between security forces and protesters resulting in multiple casualties. Official reports indicate that confrontations in areas including Rawalkot and surrounding districts have led to deaths among both civilians and security personnel. Authorities have stated that forces responded in self-defense after protests turned violent. A communications blackout and curfew remain in place across parts of the region, restricting movement and access to information. Human rights groups have called for independent investigations into the incidents. Security deployments have been intensified to restore order, while officials continue to monitor the situation closely as efforts to stabilize the area proceed. Time now for some sports news. Teen Indian sensation Tanvi Sharma clinched her maiden BWF World Tour title after defeating Vietnam's Thuy Linh Nguyen at Taipei Open Super 300 badminton tournament today. The 17-year-old, who had finished runner-up at last year's US Open Super 300, needed just 36 minutes to outclass Nguyen 21-16, 21-16 in the summit clash. Tanvi also became the first Indian to win the women's singles title at the Taipei Open since Saina Nehwal, who had lifted the trophy in 2008. Tanvi is the youngest finalist in the tournament's history, surpassing Korean Lee Yong-dae, who was 17 years and 287 days old when he reached the men's doubles final in 2006. Tanvi reached her maiden Super 300 final at the 2025 US Open at the age of 16. Boxers punched their way to a record-breaking haul of 7 gold medals, while judokas and para-track and field athletes also shone on the most productive day for India in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow on Saturday. On the penultimate day of competitions, India jumped to the 4th spot in the medal table with 13 golds, 17 silver and 9 bronze for a total of 39 podium finishes. Out of the 8 gold won by the Indians, boxers contributed 7 in their best ever show in the Commonwealth Games. India topped the boxing medal table with 7 gold and 3 silver medals. The other gold was won by Soman Rana in the men's F57 para shot put event. In judo, Unnati Sharma clinched the bronze medal in the women's 63 kg event to continue the country's historic run. The bronze was India's 4th medal in judo, continuing the country's best ever Commonwealth Games campaign in this sport. It was a historic moment for Indian para sports athletes in Glasgow as they equaled the haul of all previous editions put together, winning 7 medals including 1 gold and silver. Australia led the medal table with 62 golds, followed by England and Canada. Indian boxers made history by claiming 10 medals, including 7 gold at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Arundhati Chaudhary, who bagged the women's 70 kg title, shared her experience and future plans with DD India's Narayan Singh.
Fantastic performance by our boxer at the Commonwealth Games. Arundhati won gold medal in the 70 kg weight category. A very congratulations to you, Arundhati. How you look this achievement, winning a gold at the Commonwealth Games?
I'm feeling very good, proud also, because here's the result what my family sacrificed for me, and their sacrifice makes me this much tough that I could bring this for my India.
How you look overall journey, your boxing journey?
I think my journey was quite tough, because as from Rajasthan it was very hard to come out from that state. So this was difficult, but still the family motivation, my basic coach motivation, so here's the result.
What are the reasons you think behind this stupendous performance of the Indian boxers?
First of all, so the main reason is our federation only, because they are very proud on us and even they give us so many facilities. Next targets will be right now like a World Cup, because in Asian Games 70 kg is not there. So first of all, I go home and enjoy this movement. I'll eat lot of food and then I'll get preparations, start preparations for the World Cup.
So how you remain mentally tough? Because you know, as you mentioned, weight is a problem for any boxer. So what are the challenges, mental challenges as a boxer?
Actually, I know my aim is Olympics 2028. So these are just hurdles, they are coming in between. So I know I have to cross them, because in anyhow I have to complete my Olympic target. So these hurdles I can cross easily.
So definitely your boxers are looking very much confident, and they are saying that their target is even the bigger podiums like Olympics, and definitely the kind of potential they have, we all know that they can do this after a historical performance here at the Commonwealth Games. 10 boxers in the final and gold streak continues. With camera person Stalin, Narayan Singh, DD India, Glasgow.
Gulveer Singh scripted history as he became the first Indian athlete to win 2 medals in a single edition of the Commonwealth Games. Reigning Asian champion Gulveer, who had won a silver in the 10,000 meter on July 28, finished third in the 5,000 meter race with time of 13 minutes 24.95 seconds to complete a historic double on the concluding day of the athletics competition in Glasgow. Matthew Kipchumba Kipsang of Kenya took the gold, while Australia's Kai Robinson clinched the silver. All right, to discuss more on India's performance at the Commonwealth Games 2026, we've been joined by our correspondent Narayan Singh, who is joining us live from Glasgow. Hi Narayan, a very good afternoon to you from India. Narayan, exceptional performance by the Indian athletes, absolutely amazing, absolutely phenomenal. They are being hailed by everyone in the entire world for their dedication, the sweat and blood that they put in their practice, and which is now absolutely on display when you talk about the medal tally. It's 39 as you and I are talking. An exceptional performance by the boxers, Narayan. How do you assess their performance? Okay.
Definitely, if you take a look at the history of the boxing in the Commonwealth Games, 10 finalists from India, it's a unique achievement. It is one of the best ever performance by any country in the boxing at the Commonwealth Games, and we saw the 7 gold our boxers win, and there were 3 silvers and a dominant show by our women boxer winning the 5 gold medal, whether it was Arundhati, Jasmine, Preeti, and even our Olympic medalist Lovelina Bogan won a silver. And in the heavyweight category, we saw the way Naren Berwal winning the silver medal. So exceptional performance of our boxers, look technically superior. Talking about the Ankush's performance, I think he was one of the most smartest boxer of this tournament, just keeping cool and calm while facing the tougher opponents. And he even just like he was toying with their opponents. And talking about Sachin's bout, he was we can say that behind in the first 2 rounds and making a bounce back, making a comeback in the contact sport like boxing after 2 rounds. It is, we can say, a Herculean task, but the mindset of a boxer, we can say that mentally they are so strong, it doesn't matter for them who is their opponent, and they are just winning the more and more medals here, especially in the boxing. So it was a collaborative effort. When we talked to their coach and the other players, they said that the kind of support they are getting from the Sports Authority of India, Government of India, Sports Authority of India, it was stupendous. And you also know that 2 days back, Government of India passed a historic sports budget, that is for the Khelo India and the Sports Federation. More than 36,400 crore. Never in the history of the world sport this has happened, and such a big budget for the grassroots level sports, for the Sports Federation. Definitely this will take the other Indian sports at the next level, and this budget has also boosted the morale of our athletes, that government is spending so much on sports.
You're absolutely right, Narayan.
At the first priority level. And also, as you know, that next edition of the Commonwealth Games will be in Ahmedabad. Okay. And also preparation has started for that here in Glasgow. There is Ahmedabad Experience Center, where the world is getting introduced with the Indian culture and the Indian tradition, Indian food, and how India, they will getting a glimpse of how India is going to host that game. So all in all, India is prepared to be the next superpower in sports.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt, the kind of performance our athletes are showing. Thank you so much, Narayan. We leave it there. India's Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia flagged off the National Cadet Corps Cyclothon 2026 at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. The cyclothon is a 79-kilometer cycling event featuring 79 NCC cadets to commemorate 79 years of India's independence. The event will conclude at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. Olympic medalist Mary Kom and former Indian tennis player Leander Paes also praised the cyclothon as a drive to inspire the youth. Minister Mandavia said the National Cadet Corps symbolized fitness and discipline and known for its social service. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News.